Precious Lord, hold my hand. Oh, precious Lord, hold my hand, for I am weak, for I am strong. Oh, precious Lord, hold my hand, for I am weak, for I am tired, for I'm alone. Oh, precious Lord. Oh, precious Lord. You know, I was born in the western side of Louisiana. And I was the youngest in my neighborhood and in my family, so not only was I my mother's baby, oh, I was everyone's baby. A fact expressed by my nickname, Charles Baby. Except for the mother next door. Now she called me Chocolate. She said it was because my skin was just like chocolate. And every time she saw me, she'd say, baby, come here and give me some sugar chocolate. I spent a lot of times with them old folks next door, and for me, it was very, very, very transcendent. They helped me with patience and kindness, and that the world is a beautiful place, and that you only live once. But with a life well lived, one was enough. Cartoon phenomenon Stewie Gilligan Griffin once stated, I love you in a way that one loves another who one simply cannot live without. Today I'll be expressing the words of Charles M. Blow, a man who dearly loves his mother and wants nothing more than emotional satisfaction. Through this we learn that being a child can sometimes be a journey, but when a childhood's innocence is shattered, one must be willing to pick up the pieces, no matter how sharp. The Fire, Shut Up in My Bones, by Charles M. Blow. You know, Charles M. Blow was a name given to me by my mother, who suggested to name me Ray Charles. But instead, she named me Charles McRae to make more sense. You know, my mother and my father had an abusive relationship. In fact, the first time I ever seen a person shoot a gun at another person, it was my mother towards my father. Now, shooting or cheating husband was not uncommon where I came from. In fact, it was often done. But that night, my mother kicked my father out the window along with their marriage. And you know, my mother was not proud of scavenging, but she refused to do what she had to do to make sure we never saw a hungry day. And we never saw a hungry day. We had to move to my grandfather's. And for me, I thought it'd be like transcendent, you know? But I was wrong, you see, because I was looking away from my neighborhood where I was everyone's baby, where I was Charles' baby, where those old men sitting on their porches and big old black women wanting some sugar from shop. So you can say the move plot me down to an emotional nothingness. It wasn't a physical loneliness, but an emotional one. You know, they need to be hugged, and they need to be kissed and felt like you was everything to somebody. Like my cousin Chester. Chester was my favorite cousin. And we'd always have family coming over, but this time Chester made sure he was gonna play with me instead of my older brothers who was his age. And me being 7 years old meant the world to me. Me and Chester laughed and played all day. I was only 7, but I felt like a big boy. Sometime in the night I was awoken about something happening below my waist. I felt my underwear being pushed down and something rubbing against my most private area, and words of wet lips and hot breath was saying, relax, it's just a game. It was Chester. I tried to remember my mother's silent submission, and I thought maybe if I just laid still, I'd get up in the morning like she did. But this felt different. This felt wrong. Afterwards, I walked up to my mother with this look. And you know, she could not realize what was going on. No, my mother could not read my mind like I thought she could. You know, I don't know what the world sounds like when it breaks. Maybe there isn't a sound, just an enveloping nothingness. I say this because I remember wanting to scream. I say this because I remember wanting to cry. But I was dead. And dead boys forget how to cry. Why couldn't my mother figure out what was going on? Why couldn't I run up the courage to tell her? Because I wanted to tell her, but another part of me thought it was beyond possibility. So Chester's strategy never worked. I never told. I thought if I just keep the memory down, I can suppress the memory and it can be gone from distance. But it was that silence that kept me going to depression throughout my life. But I figured if I just stayed throughout school and throughout work, I can keep the depression at bay. You know, I never went to college. Oh, baby, I ran to it. I figured that if I just stayed busy throughout work and throughout school, I can keep the depression at bay. You know, it was one of those days where I was in my apartment and I was looking for my notebook and I received a call from my mother. Oh, who in here remembers the love of mom? You see, my mother, her voice can ease the most stress of men. We was talking and talking. She was asking me how I was doing. I said, good. She was asking me how I was. I said, good, Mama, I'm good. She even asked me if I was washing my underwear. I said, yeah. Oh. How you doing, Mama? How's Miss Thomas? Miss Thomas, Mama, how's Miss Thomas? The chocolate lady, Mama, how's the chocolate lady? Ma. Ma. There was a silence on the line. There was a silence on the line and then the words, what's going on, boy? It was Chester. Speaking to me in a form like nothing ever happened. You know, I'm a calm man. I think things out. I think things out all the time because I remember at that moment feeling a pit of emotional rage inside of me. Not just in thoughts, but a flood of emotion and tears. And in my mind, I had thoughts of getting in my car and killing Chester because finally seeing him in a pool of his own blood can finally liberate me from my past. And I reviewed a simple plan to walk up to him. To walk up to him with a gun, shoot him as many times I could. Shoot him as many times I could. No arguments. No explanations. Done. And I say that I was going down up in the stale and I was balling out of my mind, thinking about all the times I spent bracing myself against this full-throated assault, thinking about who I could be, who I was, and who I am now. I had two choices. Go down the interstates towards the unthinkable or take the exit right here. I don't know if it was my head or my hand, but I got out on that interstate. And I went home and I cried. You know, Chester had done things to me, but I was not dead. He didn't deserve to die for me, and I deserve to live in spite of it. All my life, I've been trying to fit in, but it will take the rest of my life to realize that some men are just meant to stand out. And when I identified me, it was not all of me. And I would have to harness the truth inside of me, like a fire shut up in my bones. And you know what? I would give life to my passions and my writings. And they would breathe like that. And they would breathe life back into me. So, to that I say, to my mother, who is my rock, and to my kids, who are my race.